My name is Inspector Mark Reilly. I'm the Duty Commander at Metropolitan East 1, which is the Duty Commander City. I've been marching with Fire and Rescue New South Wales for approximately the last 10 years or so. The last 3 years I've been quite honoured to actually be the Contingent Commander and lead the firefighters down George Street. A great honour indeed. My military career started as a private soldier and I've served in a number of infantry units such as 1 Commando Regiment. I've served time with 3 RAR. I've worked with 5 Headquarters 5th Brigade as a staff officer. I did my officer training through the Officer Cadet Training Unit at Bardia Barracks in the early 90s. When I graduated from there I served with 119 Battalion, which was known as the Bushman's Rifles, and had a large number of, back in those days, New South Wales Fire Brigade firefighters who served in all the various companies in the country, from Dubbo, Orange, Bathurst, all the way into the city. And more recently, I did retire from the military as a major at the operations officer at 5 Basby. I'm now re-enlisting again to go back to a staff officer role to fill a shortage that the military has due to operational deployments internationally. It's a very, very small world. The military is an enormous organisation, as Australia is an enormous country. It's an enormous organisation to cover that country and provide service. And Fire and Rescue New South Wales is a very large organisation providing statewide coverage. So there are a lot of similarities, and you find the traits and the daring do of soldiers carries over very well into being a professional firefighter. So in one we serve the continent, in the other we serve the community. There are very similar lines between being a firefighter and being a soldier. The commitment and the amount of effort you have to put into both occupations is quite extreme. To do it well, I'd like to think. Being a firefighter and being a member of the Defence Force, it's stated often that an active fire, whether it be a house fire or a factory fire or a high-rise fire, is a lot like combat in that it's uncontrolled, it's dynamic, it's changing. You have to exert a huge amount of energy to participate. There are a lot of similarities, and accordingly it attracts a similar sort of people. There are a lot of reserve soldiers on my shift now who are pre-military, joined the fire service, they've got back into the reserves and they're now serving in Afghanistan. Some of them have served in Iraq before that. Some of them are on war-fighting ships. I'm very fortunate that I've had a varied military career, and I've had a very varied fire and rescue career, and I've served in the military with a number of great leaders, and I find myself now, many years later, I have some of their children serving as my firefighters. For example, when I was in the Commando Regiment, I was led by Major Pye, the OC of 2 Company, and his daughter Davina Pye now works for me on Metropolitan East 1 on 8 Platoon. Many years ago, one of my station officers, Graham Munsell, was a tank commander in Vietnam. His driver was a Robert Ferguson. Robert Ferguson's son now works on my shift, Bob Ferguson, as one of the firefighters, one of my Bronto operators. So still driving, still mechanically minded, hopefully as good as his father drove a tank. So Anzac Day for me has a number of different meanings. Starting out in the morning as remembrance, I always give thanks as to why I lead the life I have and have had the opportunity that I've had in both my military career and in my fire and rescue career. I feel very fortunate with both to have been able to have 2 professional careers in my lifetime. So once we've had that dawn service and we acknowledge that the people who have gone before us have given us the lifestyle that we have now, and we're thankful for that, then I enjoy the day with my compatriots from the pre-military and serving in the fire service now. Over the last couple of years, the barbecue at the end of headquarters is always open to a number of different military units, and a lot of my mates in Fire and Rescue New South Wales are sailors, ex-sailors, and so there's a few sailors that have been coming along from different ships they served on, and more recently from the infantry battalions that I served in who have rotated through Afghanistan and Iraq. They're turning up and having a few quiet drinks as well. It's quite an enjoyable, sociable afternoon, particularly as time goes on and everybody's getting a little bit older. Bob did a fantastic job, and Peter has carried that role on as again in his role as the Professional Standards and Conduct Officer, and now as the Zone Commander of Metropolitan East 1, because this facility, our building here, houses the memorial for the First World War diggers. We feel an obligation to maintain the Anzac Day celebration and ceremonies. So Metropolitan East 1 is very stout supporters of the Anzac Day tradition. that role of honour, it's quite a substantial number of firefighters who participated in the First World War, and tragically there's a high rate of fatalities that they gave their life serving their country. The First World War diggers tragically are no longer with us. There's a few Second World War diggers who served in the Second World War and were firefighters who are retired now and who march on Anzac Day. That leads to the Vietnam era. A lot of the Vietnam era firefighters have now since retired. And Anzac Day is a good day to catch up with those. Corporal Dennis Rayner, who was my station officer, Corporal Graham Munstall, who was my station officer. It's always great to catch up with those two guys on Anzac Day for me. And I see myself as a transitional firefighter, ex-military member, in that the time that I was in the military peace was breaking out all over the world. After I retired, unfortunately, it got a little bit nasty, and we've had a number of major conflicts. Those soldiers in the coming decade will start to take over the position I hold, and all my comrades from my generation, and they will be the new leaders of the Anzac Day service and march and contingent as time comes on.